You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
All right, welcome back to Hello Sport Podcast. Home of unqualified opinion and unwavering bias. Very special podcast today, Edward.
Very special.
They're all special, but today particularly special. Ahead of UFC 273 Jacksonville, Sunday, April 10th. Kayo, main event at Al. We're sitting here with the great Alexander Volkanovski. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Oh, well, no worries at all.
How you feeling, mate?
Feeling really good.
Pumped?
Pumped.
You look
Pumped.
good.
Yeah, let's go. Everything's going to plan. Everything's going really good. Mate, like, you're going to say this every time, right? You're going to say I am the best I've ever been, but I'm really the best I've ever been. You know, even it's not only me saying that. Obviously, people around me that are watching me train and be like, all right, this is definitely the best he's been, and Zombie's going to have a rough night ahead of him. That's what I think anyway.
Just running the Hello Sport eye test, you're the best I've ever seen.
Well, you're in incredible nick. We like to eye test things, and you're coming up
good.
trumps, mate.
Oh, like, good, man.
Zombie's in big trouble.
Oh yeah,
the guns are out.
Dude,
Look at what we're saying. There we go.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
We will get to the fight more specifically in a moment, but just wanted to have a bit of a yarn with you while we've got you. Obviously, you've been in some huge podcasts, us no different. We're interested to know, though, what it's like for you going on a podcast like Rogan's, which is obviously so massive, right? It's the biggest podcast in the world. Are you more nervous for something like that than fighting, where you're like, you are a fighter, so I guess there's an element of you're comfortable in that arena. When you're going into that sort of a setup, are you like, holy shit?
I'm usually all right. It was funny because Isabella was here. Arabella can relate to. She was with us with this one. The first one, because whenever I'm in Vegas, I'm there to obviously fight. But I went there when Izzy fought Romero. So it was a party Volk was there because I wasn't fighting or anything. So I was like really hungover and then had Joe Rogan. I think the nerves and being hungover and it all got to me. I don't even remember the podcast. So I was stressing the whole time. I was like, what did I say? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, you know what I mean? They're telling me oh no, they're talking about his daughter and diving. I was like, we're talking about his daughter. I'm still I hope I didn't say the wrong things or you know what I mean? I was doing my head in, but now I've obviously done it twice with him. But usually I'm pretty calm and it's just that's why I feel like I'm so good when I go into fights as well. I'm so composed. I don't get nervous purely because I try and keep myself calm, composed. I'm always doing that, so I'll get a good control of it. And because I'm doing podcasts, I still need to be in control, so I'm like that. But if I watch, someone else, a teammate fight or big fight, because I'm not in control, right? As these guys doing it, that's where I get real nervous. Cornering guys and all that type of stuff. But when I'm fighting, I don't get nervous at all.
Well, I get nervous watching you fight. All the Aussie boys fight, I get really nervous.
Exactly.
Sweaty
I'm
palms.
I'm the
and
same.
I'm like, mate, look at me. I'm a complete mess watching someone fight. Walking out to some. I don't know how you do it.
Well, I'm the same. Like I said, I'll do that watching the boys fight, any of the Aussies fight or teammates, and I'll sit there. I'm like, oh man, is this what it feels like? You know what I mean? I don't get any of that.
When you talk about your ability to stay calm, it's kind of counterintuitive, right? When you think of fighting, at least from our sort of standpoint, it's aggression, someone's done something wrong to you, you're defending yourself, whatever it is, kind of just chaos. To have the ability to stay calm and present and sort of aware of everything that's going on, is that a learned skill, something you've always had?
It's definitely experience, and it's something that you learn, and it definitely gets better over time. But, because I probably did get nervous at the start. I was always trying to control myself, so maybe telling myself I'm not too nervous, but, you still, your brain's going and things like that. But yeah, man, I've definitely got a good control over it now, man. I don't know, maybe I feel like I'm different in that sense, where some people, man, even when I fought for the title against Max the first time, I'm fighting for the belt, right? Now I'm defending and all that, you might be like, oh, he's getting used to it, but even then, I was just whatever, we're about to walk out, we're having a laugh, you know what I mean? And we got security guards and people that are ready to walk out. I was there talking to my coaches does he realise he's about to fight for the belt? But these are the conversations that are happening around me because I'm that chill and I'm just having a chat how we are now as I'm literally about to walk out. So it's something but I feel like that's what, as you were saying with, it's the aggression, all that type of stuff. I mean, that's going to happen. We're in there, we're in there to fight, right? We're in there to throw hands. So that's going to happen. But I mean, I want to be in control. It is a sport to me. That's the difference. It's a sport. And people need to understand that. It isn't just a fight. If it was, that's why I'm going to be leave too many openings and all that. Then people are going to capitalise, and next minute I'll be out cold because I wasn't thinking straight. So that's why I like to stay in composed, be in control, and do my thing. And that, obviously when you talk about fight IQ and game planning, all that, you need to be in control.
Well, at what point do you reckon it changed then in terms of like when you were shitting yourself before a fight to when you were like, all right, now I'm not feeling nervous?
Man, probably early. It would have been. It was before UFC. I felt like I was getting much better. Man, probably only my first few fights I'd get more nervous, but when I say nervous, not like, like I see some people, I'm like, man, they look nervous.
Well, like
I've never been like that. Like I sit there and they're like, just freaking out. I was like, wow. But like, I'm never like that. Like, I don't even remember, I'm telling you, when I watch teammates and things like, the butterflies and all that feeling, I don't even remember getting that in my first fights.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So, it was weird. I might be nervous, but not like that. You know what I mean? I guess I was trying not to let myself be like, So no, relax, you're all right, you're cool, you're all good.
When you're walking out in front of like tens of thousands, millions watching on pay-per-view, like headlining a main event, so like, Max the first time, second time, do you ever think about the old days when you're like, first fight at an RSL, or like, do your mind ever go there, being like, look how far I've come?
I mean, it doesn't, maybe not in the heat of the moment, maybe while I'm not there at the time, I'm just playing what's in front of me, but it is like that.
Like in the change room before, when you're sort of just moseying around.
I don't know, man, because I'm just in the moment, right? So I'm just, I'm always like that. I just play what's in front of me. I've always been like that. But it's funny you say that. Like I come back home and then it is like it was back then. You know what I mean? Like I'm just still the same guy. I'm here back at the town I always was, and it keeps me grounded and all that. And I like forget about the champ. That's why I literally bring the belt with me a lot of times now. When I start getting close to the fight, it's like, oh yeah. This thing, this life,
this is what we're doing.
This life. I've got to remind myself. So now I keep that with me purely for that, because I am like that probably all the time except for fight week. Fight week is like, all right, I'm the champ, I'm ready to do my thing, and that's it.
I'm the motherfucker.
So exactly right. I'm king. That belt ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of how it is. But I mean, everyday life, I am like that. I might not look back at them RSL days, but I'm the same guy, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the same, probably, you know what I mean? So it's funny.
Do you hop out of the shower and put that over the shoulder?
We were driving down, and we were like, surely you rocked that nude at least one point around.
Mate, like,
at least once.
Have to.
No comment. But look, honestly, man, like, I'll be honest, it doesn't get out too much, to be honest with you. But I mean, once I start getting close to the fight, I bring it out just purely to remind me. I remember I made a sort of, not a promise to myself, but I was telling myself, no, every time you do interviews, every time you do that, I'm going to get that out just as a reminder. It's like, hey, this is, you're the champ. You're allowed to wear that crown and wear it proudly and present yourself as the best.
Yeah.
Because
you've worked hard to get it.
You know what I mean? Which sometimes it's hard for me because that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
The type of guy, like I feel like, oh man, am I, I'll be worrying about what people think. But at the end of the day, I'm allowed to wear that crown and wear it proudly and gloat a little bit.
So is that sort of like a little bit, right? Dual personality a little bit, where you've got like champ Volk, and then just sort of
it is like that.
Gorilla
not very
Volk.
Often you get to see champ Volk. You know what I mean? So I'm going to bring him out more and more as life goes on, I think.
You were talking about how it's a sport to you, like first. How do you've obviously just been yourself the whole way through it, and that sort of translates, but you do see fighters, your Henry Cejudo's of the world, your Colbys, and you've been sort of with Colby when he's sort of doing his thing and you're sort of sitting there seeing it happen. Like, how do you view fighters who take that route? Because obviously on their merits, they're good enough as it is, right? Mm-hmm. But they take that route of sort of playing a character, self-promotion, Colby a little more hectically than Henry, but like, how did you and maybe fighters generally who aren't like that view it?
It's a good question, and it's hard. Like, it depends how you look at it, right? Because at the end of the day, you're like, are you comfortable? They're not comfortable being who they are, so they have to be somewhere else. But at the same time, they're comfortable enough to be hated and all that type of, put that front on. Obviously, people are going to be saying things, they're going to be hated and all that type of stuff, and it doesn't get to them. So you got to respect them in a way where, like, oh yeah, that's whatever. People can say whatever they want. That's going to make me money, and I'm proud. People that know me, they know who I am and what I'm all about and all that type of stuff. So you got to respect them in a sense. But at the same time, then you can look at it as like, they felt the need to be someone they're not to sell pay-per-views or for people to be interested. You know what I mean? So that's where you look at it. Depends how you look at it, right? But at the same time, whatever they've accepted the path they chose, which I'll respect that. But it is cringy to watch sometimes. I'll be honest. So you know what I mean?
Some of it's crazy.
But I mean, at the same time, again, there's a lot of negativity in the world, and there's a lot getting thrown at them.
Yeah.
But to see them be like, oh, whatever, wear it proudly and be whatever, you know what I mean, and not let it get to them, you sort of got to respect that in a way.
Do you ever feel like there's pressure from the UFC to hit certain pay-per-view numbers or like ham up a fight in a certain way? Like, is there anyone going, mate, you know, push this angle, push that angle? Or
mate,
do they stay out of it and just let you do your thing?
Man, it's tricky because you sit there and you have these questions with yourself, you know, because again, you've got so many negative people, like, you know, always having shots at you and haters and all that. And I'll be honest, this is something that I've been talking about, being a bit vocal about it, how I was letting that get to me. And it was making me feel like I had something to prove to these guys that they're going to hate me no matter what I do. Like, you know, that's just how it is. Like, I could be, you know, the biggest pay-per-view star. You're still going to have haters saying you're shit and you're nobody and all that type of stuff. So why would you take what they're saying so seriously and think everyone's thinking it? And it's that's something that, I've sort of been overdoing, I've let it get to me. So I felt like that was taken over my direction in how I wanted to be, you know what I mean? So it was but right now I feel like, no, I don't need to worry about that. And that's why I say I respect the guys that at least chose that path and then they're okay with it. Whether maybe they're not, I don't know. But they're hiding the world, you know, so like...
what do you do when it spills over, right? Because like you see with Masvidal and old mate and Colby now, where like it spills over into the real world, like seems like there's a line that you've got to try and toe when you're doing this shit.
Well, that's what I mean. It's weird because that's something you see with Colby a fair bit, where he plays that role, but then you see him go out of character and then try and use I'm playing a role like, and, you know, try and get sympathy about it.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't play.
You can't really do that,
like
you know. He doesn't do it too much, but here and there you'll hear him talk about it. Yeah. It's like, that's not how it works, man. You wanted to do this for the money, for the hype and all that. You're gonna have to own it. You know what I mean, and own it 24/7. You know, there's gonna be times where you might feel a little vulnerable. Yeah. But that's the path you chose. Usually, it seems like 95% of the time he's okay with it, but there's that little bit where he sometimes tries to get, I swear, like tries to get sympathy about it. You sit there and be like,
and Masvidal just seems like
I need security guards, or when you start being racist and saying stuff, that shit's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so don't come crying to me about it. But you know, that's
But when you're like, you know, fight week Volk and you're pumping yourself up and you're beating the motherfucker and shit, like, do you ever...
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Fuck
on our podcast.
Yeah, we always swear.
Fucking hell.
Just falling into old habits. But like you see, you know, prime time Conor McGregor from like 5 years ago and he's just chirping everyone. Was there part of you that just like, I want to sit next to him and give it back, you know?
I mean, like,
because a lot of people just go silent, they don't say a word, like little chirps.
It's fun, man. Like, that's why like a lot of people ask, like, you know, what's a dream fight and all that, and everyone's gonna say Conor because of the money and but I mean, it's a circus around it too, right? Circus, the hype around it and all that type of stuff. Like, you know, your press conference is just gonna do like millions of views and all that, and do the rounds and all that type of stuff. So it is entertaining. Yeah, I've always, like, because I'm the type of guy, like, I'm not gonna let things that my opponents are saying get to me. I won't. Like, I've got that part down pat. I'll be honest, when I talk about the negative comments and all that, I'll let that get to me. But that was because I'm a people pleaser. So I'm always trying to please these people. Well, why don't they like me? You know what I mean? But with my opponent, I'm not going to let them get to me. That's something that I've got down pat. So I've always wanted to be there and like see what he had to offer. And I know it wouldn't affect my you know, the outcome of the fight at all.
Like,
you know?
not like poor old Aldo.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get emotional and sit there and be like, I'm going to go try and kill him. I know beating him is going to hurt him more. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we don't feel punches in there anyway. So why would I want to? A lot of people are going, oh man, I want to punch him so hard. You do, but at the same time, them losing hurts a lot more than getting punched in the face. I'll be honest, you don't feel punches.
So you don't feel it. That's interesting, right? You're just so jacked up.
That's a whole topic in itself, isn't it? Like, honestly, maybe I'm different. The adrenaline rush and all that type of stuff. I don't like getting hit purely because that's them getting one up on me, right?
Yeah, right.
That's all it is for me. And I don't like getting hit because that could be, you know, fight ending. That could be a loss. That's how I look at it. You know, I don't look at it as like, oh, you know, it's not like that.
That's how I look at it.
Like, a lot of people would, but it isn't like that at all. Like, I don't. You probably get hurt more punching and kicking and stuff like that. Like there's times where I'll kick and I'll be like, my shin, you know what I mean, from kicking them, you know what I mean? But they'll kick me, I'll be like, sometimes the leg kicks, you might feel some of them, but again, like I'm pretty resilient. Pretty durable, so
Jesus Christ.
Bring it on.
What's the like, not necessarily like even the toughest opponent, but toughest fight in terms of like at the end of it, you're like, I am absolutely fucked, like in pain, taken days or weeks to recover. Like which fighter gave you that?
Man, there'll be a few. There's even some like even before
before
UFC,
you made
before UFC that I still remember some days, because I remember I fought for a world title, PXC world title. So I remember fighting for that, and after the fight, like it was a war, and I ended up getting him with a triangle finish, but it was pretty back and forth, and I just remember afterwards, like I was getting like shakes and shivers, and like I'm like, I think I need to go to a hospital. Like I like couldn't, like my whole body was just like this. Like I don't know what it was. It was weird. So you do feel it again. Like while it's happening, you're all right, and then you get out, and then once you cool down, you're literally sitting in the corner like. But I mean, there's been a couple. There was even Max, the first one with Max. Remember, like you break your hand, your shins, had cauliflower ear and stuff like that, and then you go out afterwards, you know, having a few drinks, and everyone's drunk, and they're like, yeah, smashing my broken hand and all over my face and my ears and all. I'm like, get me the fuck out of here, you know what I mean? Like, it's painful, but I mean, you know, it's all good. Yeah. It's a part of it.
Have you always known you had a good chin? Is that something like, you know, you get hit in the gym and when you're sparring and stuff, you're like, all the way up to when Ortega's got you around the chin twice?
Well, yeah, because again, like, doesn't have I've never been like completely knocked out. Like obviously you've been rocked and things like that. Not much in the gym. Like I can't even remember times I've been rocked in a gym. But I mean, there's going to be times where you rock, but never have I been like, oh, like, you know, where am I? Type of thing. So that obviously is saying something. And you know, you've been times where you've went down, bounced back up, and then got straight back into the fight. So that is showing that you got some resilience and got a decent chin. And then you talk about resilience when it comes to chokes and, you know, submissions and being tired and pushing through and all that. Like, you know, that's sort of what I'm known for. So
that was very stressful watching that.
Extremely. It's funny. Anyone that knows
years
me,
of our life.
Anyone that knows me and like sees me training and all that, they see it on time and time again. You know what I mean? So everyone knows that. Yeah. But I mean, that was a real good eye opener for everyone else to be like, oh, okay. We get it.
That's what we were saying, right? Like, it kind of seems crazy. You beat Max twice, and you know, obviously there's people who dispute the fucking victories, all that bullshit aside. But it almost still felt like until that fight with Ortega where you just showed how tough you are, there was almost only now you getting like the full respect that you deserve. Do you feel like that a little bit, or at least from like a pocket of?
Oh look, man, like obviously, yeah, man, like that's going to happen. And again, you're going to get some people that are going to be vocal, and it's again the most vocal usually. Probably the negative, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so it's that's just a part of it. No matter what we do, it's always gonna, you know, that's always gonna happen. But you're right, you are right. You know, when you've got a fan favorite, you're going out there and, you know, he's already proved himself and all that, and then you've got some guy, like newcomer, come in and from Australia and go out there, and you know, they're not going to like it. But you're right. And then obviously you're having close fights and all that type of stuff, competitive fights. Then you know, people are going to say that. But then this one was obviously eye opener, because man, that's how it is. The fights, you know, I've had a pretty tough run. You look at who I fought.
Bro, I know.
You know what I mean? And I used to, and like I said, I used to dive into it like what some people would say. But then you look at it, anyone that knows the game knows that Max Holloway twice, and even Ortega, you know, they've never been knocked out. You know what I mean? Like you can't expect to just go out there and just knock them clean out and that's it. You know what I mean? If that was an easy task, it would have happened before. They've had over 40 fights combined.
I mean, Ortega was fucked up.
Oh, mate, like, put it this way, the ref definitely could have stopped that one. But I mean, look, again, it's that's what I mean. You're right, that was definitely an eye because you got to show a whole different side. Because there was a lot of strategy in your Aldo fights and your Max Holloway fights. You know, it was all about strategy. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you've got to be a competitor. If you want to win this, you can't just take stupid risks just because a hater might be happy. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. But you can fight other guys where you're still going to have strategy, but I mean, you can have a little bit more freedom where your style, where I felt with Ortega, my style covered a lot of ground with that fight. So I could be a lot more free in there. You know, I didn't have to have certain directions I had to approach a fight. Where even the one coming as well with the zombie, I feel like I'm going to have that freedom as well. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to this. You know, I'm in a whole, man, like I said, I'm levels above right now. I really am. And the beauty of it is just the freedom I have inside my head, and not just that, and physically, and in the cage and all that. You're going to see a whole new me inside and outside the octagon, and I can't wait.
Beautiful. We're in a couple of weeks' time on Zombie. How do you see that fight going?
Man,
a W, obviously.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, I want to, you know, because I say this every time, because you think people want to hear you say you're going to get the finish, and that's why I would always say it, purely because you think that's what people want to hear.
Yeah, right.
Right, and then at the end of the day, right now, I don't care that, but I'm saying I'm going to get a finish because I truly believe that. And like, if I don't get it, I'll be pretty disappointed in myself. And I've made that pretty vocal as well. Not, again, and that's not me shitting on Zombie.
Yeah.
It's just where I'm at, what I'm seeing stylistically and all that type of stuff. And the fact that I said, like, the freedom I have with my style in this fight, I'm going to be able to capitalize on so much more. So, yeah, I'll be I'll be disappointed and surprised if I don't finish him, just purely where I'm at.
Hypothetically speaking, if you were talking to a couple of guys who gamble on sport a little bit, what round do you reckon you're going to
Man, I'm feeling like the second or third. I don't think it's going past the third round.
I have a theory
really
that most title
think
fights
that.
go second round. I just bet on second round.
Again, you say that, you're going to say that every time because you think that's what people want to hear. But I mean, I'm saying that in confidence and what I truly believe and seeing. And again, I won't be happy if I don't do it inside the three.
What's his, like, what skill set does he bring for people that don't necessarily know him?
Oh, he's dangerous guy,
like,
man.
that you're most sort of have to be aware of.
You got to be aware of his power. You know, you got to be aware of his counter ability and all that type of. He's the type of guy that, you know, you slip up. You know, you go in, you approach an attack the wrong way. He can put you one on your chin and that's it, lights out. And he's proved that time and time again. He's been in the game for forever. I think he started. He was in like WEC, UFC before I even started MMA. And he's been at the top pretty much that whole time. So he's experienced. He knows what he's doing. He's seen a lot. But I mean, we've seen a lot of him as well. So that means going into this fight, you know, I've got a good read on him. I think he's going to change things up a little bit early. You know, he's got guys that he's working with. I guarantee he's going to approach the fight differently coming into the fight and maybe early. But I'm going to take that away from him straight away. And then he's going to have to just go back to his old habits, and that's where I capitalise, and that's where I get the finish. And people are going to ask, how do you see it, man? I don't want to say TKO or submission because I can see both. Yeah. I can see I can actually really see me getting a submission and a TKO, like, you know, we're punching the head through the canvas or a good submission, you know what I mean? Like, again, where I'm at right now, and I feel like I'm going to capitalise on every opportunity that comes my way.
Love that.
Beautiful.
Well, look, that's April 10th, Kayo main event, featherweight title on the line. Before we go, though, there's just like a couple of things we got to get to here. And we found this out before the interview. We almost cancelled it because of it. But you're a Dragons fan?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, for sure, mate. They're going to have a good year this year.
Okay.
I'm doing a bit of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd probably be offended by what you say if you weren't Manly fans.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
now he's a Manly fan. So you can say whatever you want. I'm all good. Yeah, man. I've been working with the Dragons, so that's been pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's funny, man. I'm absolutely loving sport right now. I've always loved sport, right? But my weekends is all about sport. I'm watching the basketball because I train with some of the Hawks guys as well, and the footy, rugby league, and I'm getting right into sport again. I'm absolutely loving it. I think that's because there's more of a connection.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I'm enjoying it.
Well, on sport, we always say that one of the great fitness markers is the beep test. Mm-hmm. What's your best score?
Oh man, I haven't done a beep test for a long time. I know running's probably not my thing, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm going to do okay
it's a way for
because
us
I
to
will
compare
try,
ourselves
but
to you,
I wonder if my
essentially.
legs can keep up. Like, my heart rate will be all right,
Yeah.
but I wonder if my legs, I'm going to be, I might be too slow.
Well, I'm actually surprised to hear you don't do them every week.
Yeah,
I would have thought that
It's
was-
one of the...
Put it this way, with some of the sessions we do, I'd probably rather a beep test.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But I mean, in saying that, like, again, we're the type of training that we do, and
Surely at
It needs to be a
the
little bit
Gorillas you were doing beep tests, weren't you? In
I
pre-season,
do
you were
remember doing
600
some beep
kilos.
tests, but I mean, I was a front row back then. So I mean, I ain't gonna
hitting
bring
tens.
up them numbers.
Sounds like he
I'm
wasn't
sure they
hitting
weren't
double
good.
digits, Eddie. He's hiding from us.
5'6". I was just wide as I was tall, so you could imagine the numbers probably weren't that good.
Well, we still haven't an answer. So.
Yeah, no, he's hiding. That's all right. Mate, good luck.
I don't even know how does it go. What's a good number?
I don't know, 15, something like that.
I got 6 a year ago, which isn't good.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Well, put it this way, I would have got more than 6. I'll say that.
Yeah, I bet you would have got more than 6, mate. I bet you would have. Anyway, mate, good luck, April 10. Thank you very much for having a chat with us. Can't wait to watch the fight.
No worries, man. Thank you.
Cheers.
I appreciate it. Legends.
Go Manly.
Go Manly.
Here we go.
We're going to do it. I'll just do a real quick squeeze.
No, yeah, like I'll tap you when I'm wigging out. Or I'll go.
No, I don't want to get
Okay,
you can't do
okay.
that. But I do it. So again, I can even do it like one arm and like even me just doing that. That was one arm.
Yeah, I know.
I've actually did. It's funny. I'm going to tell you the story. I remember I was explaining it to a guy, to the guys in here, and he was fighting that weekend. And I said that I've got my arm around him and I was showing him what you do. You get it around here and you cover your hand. I'm just doing this. I wasn't squeezing, but I was just showing him the technique. And I'm like going, you just do this cover now, you know, he's going to try and reach and he can't. Next minute he just collapses. And I'm like, you're fucking joking, right? Like, he's like, what? He looks up at me, he's like, what? Oh shit. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so I want to do it. You ready? Let's go.
I'm joking.
Oh, I was like, can't be that quick.
Oh, bro.
Oh, bro, that's tight.
Is it tight?
Yeah.
Fucking jeez.
Oh my
I squeezed
God.
a little bit there.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't have to squeeze it hard. You could still go to sleep.
I felt that.
Just purely
Yeah,
where if
believe
I
ya.
just get him, you know, if I get in the right spot, then that's it.
Feeling really
good?
vulnerable.
Yeah, dude,
you're
yeah,
right.
you should.
So I'm gonna get in there. I'll keep it nice and soft.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mate.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're just laying there with the tape you've got around your
Yeah, like
What
to
are
be
you talking
composed in
about?
that position when, like, that's,
It's
you
just,
didn't even.
Well, to put it this way, you can get a bit of resilience in them positions. So while we were training, we knew that if we get there, I wanted to be a little composed and do the right things. We didn't expect to get that fucking deep, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it was deep, and like as I was, who was I talking? I think we were having a chat about it before. Like the lights were dimming. Like I was like, oh fuck, I was this close to
you were
going out. Like
feeling it.
I'm all right, I was composed.
But you were feeling
But
it.
I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna go to sleep and that's it, right? Like,
damn.
so I'm sitting there trying to make whatever space I can. He done a good job of not letting me get the space, but I made just enough. The lights were dim, and then the lights sort of come back. I'm like, oh, I'm all good. Obviously, you can't breathe and all that, but I'm like, I didn't care about that.
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
just
fine.
like, as long as I'm awake, we all good. And I knew that he would slow down. And I could just feel him getting weaker, and the space got bigger.
Does
All right, thank you.
like you've got a
fucking
we
make
like
you
to
pay now.
celebrate chins in world sport. You've got a great strong chin.
Yeah, it is,
Does
yeah.
that help you in a situation like that? Does that make it easier for him to get sort of underneath it, or is it like
Having
you're able
a
to
neck
like?
would help, but I mean, back when I was a front row, it would have been
Yeah,
real
it would
good
have
'cause I
been
didn't have a
better.
neck. But I don't know, chin. I don't know about chin.
Like as in because you can get under there a bit. Like it's
if
harder
you block
for you
it,
to.
maybe it's harder for him to get under. If you
Yeah,
can keep
right,
that, that'll
yeah,
help.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
right.
can actually get submitted even with the chin down.
Isn't that
but-
how Connor sort of went with Khabib?
Yeah, you still can. Like it's still uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Would you
I
ever-
imagine. Yeah.
But I
you
mean,
ever
like that's he would have just tapped because it was hurting.
Yeah.
Would you ever
But,
tap?
No.
No.
Love it.
I like
I
that.
mean,
Love it.
I like that.
Like yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an arm bar. If you know your arm's
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
snap
fuck
and I
that.
literally
Nah.
can't get out. You know, maybe you could do that rather than just letting your arm break. But I mean, choking and that.
No.
You don't tap
There's
that.
no,
choke.
like I mean, like you know, fair enough. You snap your arm and you're out for like a year or something.
Yeah.
That's
Good
where
point.
you'd be like, going, oh, I literally can't get out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would at least keep fighting until you go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I mean, arm bars, I don't know. Or heels if you know you're going to rip your knee
Dude, I'm just
off
thinking about
or
my arm
something.
breaking.
I'm saying I'm trying to be like, yeah, I probably would, but in the heat of the moment, I probably fucking wouldn't.
But you,
Hectic. All right,
I'll
beautiful.
back
Too
you.
easy, man.
Legend.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
bro.
Legends.
Thanks again.
Appreciate
Lovely
it.
to meet you. Good luck.
You too.
Could you two just not talk anymore?